Respect is not something you beg for. There's a moment in every person's life when they realize they've been waiting too long for people to notice them. Waiting for the apology that never came. Waiting for recognition, validation, approval. We tell ourselves we just want to be respected, but the truth is, most of us have been begging for it. We trade our peace for attention, our boundaries for belonging, and our authenticity for applause. But here's the brutal truth: the more you chase respect, the less of it you have. Because respect isn't something you ask for. It's something you become. And no one understood that better than Viktor Frankl, a man who lost everything, yet refused to lose himself. Frankl's story isn't about comfort or success, it's about dignity under fire. He was stripped of his family, his possessions, and his freedom in the Nazi concentration camps, yet somehow, in the middle of hell, he found an inner strength that no one could destroy. He called it the last of human freedoms, the power to choose one's attitude in any situation. This video isn't just about Frankl's philosophy, it's about how you can reclaim that same power. So if you're tired of begging for respect, this is where it ends. This is where you build inner authority. 1. The trap of begging for respect. Modern life teaches us from a young age to chase validation. We're conditioned to equate worth with visibility, likes, followers, promotions, approval. You're told you matter when others say you do. And so, you hustle not for purpose, but for praise. You post to be seen, work to be noticed, and talk to be approved of. Slowly, your sense of self becomes a mirror, reflecting everyone else's opinions, but showing nothing of your own. Begging for respect looks harmless at first, being nice, accommodating, proving yourself. But underneath is quiet desperation. When you beg for respect, you hand people emotional control. You let them define how confident you're allowed to feel. Every compliment becomes a drug, every slight, a wound. And the worst part? People can sense it. They can feel when your confidence depends on them, and that's when respect slips through your fingers. True respect can't be negotiated or demanded. It emerges from self-possession. Yet, many never reach that point because they're stuck in a cycle of dependency, the belief that their worth must be confirmed externally. Viktor Frankl's life dismantles this illusion. He shows us that when everything external is stripped away, what remains is your true power, the ability to choose who you are, regardless of what others think. 2. Viktor Frankl's story, Dignity in Hell. Viktor Frankl wasn't born extraordinary. He was a Viennese psychiatrist, passionate about understanding human meaning. Then came the Holocaust. He was deported to Auschwitz and other camps, where his parents, brother, and pregnant wife all perished. Everything he loved was destroyed. Imagine that, everything gone, yet you're still breathing. What's left to live for? Most would collapse under that weight. Many did. But Frankl observed something: those who found even a fragment of meaning, love, faith, a task, a vision of the future, were more likely to endure. In that inferno, Frankl saw the difference between those who survived physically and those who survived spiritually. He realized that even in suffering, there was one freedom no one could take away: the freedom to choose your attitude. You can't always control your situation, but you can always control how you respond to it. That realization was not theoretical, it was born in the dirt, hunger, and fear of the camps. Frankl's mind became a sanctuary when the world became a nightmare. He started to see meaning not as luxury, but as oxygen. This insight became the foundation of logotherapy, his psychological approach centered on the will to meaning. He discovered that humans are not driven primarily by pleasure or power, but by purpose. Purpose, he believed, is what allows you to maintain dignity even in degradation. In other words, inner authority is born when meaning replaces desperation. 3. The birth of inner authority. Inner authority doesn't shout. It doesn't need applause. It's the quiet conviction that you answer to your values, not the crowd. For Frankl, that conviction was forged in suffering. The guards could beat him, starve him, and strip away his identity, but they could not dictate his soul. He wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." This is inner authority, the power to own your response. When you live from that space, external respect becomes irrelevant. You stop reacting to disrespect like it defines you. You start living from the inside out, instead of the outside in. You become self-governing, not approval-dependent. Most people think authority is control over others, over outcomes. But inner authority is the opposite. It's self-mastery. It's when you realize your worth isn't negotiable. You can't earn it through performance or lose it through rejection. Frankl teaches us that the deepest freedom isn't escaping suffering, it's standing tall in it. 4. Stop begging, start building. The first step to building inner authority is brutal honesty. You have to admit how much of your life revolves around approval, how often you shrink, censor, or perform. Until you see the begging pattern, you can't break it. Then comes the shift, stop asking, "Do they respect me?" and start asking, "Do I respect myself right now?" Every time you compromise your truth for acceptance, you lose self-respect. Every time you stand by your values, even when it costs you, you gain it. That's the exchange rate of dignity. Building inner authority means setting boundaries, not out of ego, but out of clarity. It means acting in line with conscience, even when nobody claps. It means being the kind of person who can walk away without resentment, because you know you didn't sell yourself for attention. When you stop begging, you stop bleeding energy. Respect starts to find you, quietly, naturally, because you embody it. 5. The power of meaning. Meaning gives structure to suffering. Without it, pain feels like punishment. With it, pain becomes purpose. Frankl observed that prisoners who found meaning, whether through love, faith, or service, endured with greater strength. He quoted Nietzsche, "He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how." Meaning transforms survival into living. It turns obstacles into teachers. When you live for something beyond yourself, a cause, a craft, a person, you stop being fragile. You stop demanding life to be easy, because difficulty becomes the raw material of growth. That's the essence of inner authority, the ability to turn suffering into strength through meaning. In our time, we numb pain with distractions. But Frankl's philosophy reminds us, when you stop running from suffering, you find yourself. Meaning doesn't erase pain, it redeems it. 6. Attitude toward suffering. Frankl's message is simple but not easy. Suffering is inevitable, but despair is optional. How you face suffering reveals who you truly are. Inner authority grows when you refuse to let pain define you. When everything collapses, your plans, your image, your comfort, you still have the freedom to respond with courage, compassion, or faith. Pain tests your relationship with yourself. Begging for respect collapses under pressure. It can't survive loss. But meaning-based dignity thrives there. Because inner authority doesn't need ideal conditions. It's born precisely where respect is denied. Frankl's life shows that you don't need perfect circumstances to be strong. You need purpose. You need conscience. You need a stance, that unshakable yes to life, even when life says no. That's the core of resilience. 7. Self-transcendence and modern relevance. Frankl believed true meaning lies beyond the self. He called it self-transcendence, the act of living for something greater than your own ego. When you focus on service, love, creativity, or responsibility, you stop obsessing over respect. You outgrow the need for it. It's paradoxical, the less you chase respect, the more of it you naturally command. Today, we live in a culture that worships self-promotion. But Frankl would say, if your life revolves around proving your worth, you'll never feel it. Inner authority means shifting focus from image to impact, from validation to vocation. It means asking, what can I give, not what will they think? The more you serve something beyond yourself, the freer you become. That's how meaning turns into quiet power. Respect follows not as a prize, but as a reflection of who you've become. 8. Building inner authority in practice. Inner authority isn't mystical. It's built, daily, through choices. First, awareness. Catch yourself in moments when you seek approval. Pause. Ask what value you're betraying in that moment. Second, responsibility. Own your reactions. Don't outsource your emotions to how people treat you. Third, integrity. Live aligned with your values even when nobody's watching. Fourth, meaning. Attach purpose to your actions. Even mundane tasks can carry weight when they connect to something you care about. And finally, service. Direct your energy outward. When you help others rise, your inner authority deepens. These are not one-time steps but lifelong habits. The goal isn't to become immune to pain or criticism, it's to remain intact despite them. Frankl proved that when you live with meaning and integrity, your soul can't be imprisoned. Conclusion: the respect you're searching for is already inside you. Respect that depends on others can always be taken away. But respect that's built from within, that's freedom. Viktor Frankl's life is living proof that even in the darkest conditions, human dignity can't be destroyed. You don't need to beg for respect when you embody it. You don't need permission to be whole. So stop asking, will they respect me? And start asking, will I respect myself when this is over? That's the difference between living as a victim and living with authority. Begging for respect chains you to others. Building inner authority sets you free. Because at the end of the day, no one can give you dignity. You either stand in it or you kneel waiting for it. And Viktor Frankl showed us, even in a world built to break you, you still get to stand.